Hello, I'm Vince White. I'm an employment attorney and I am answering publicly posted questions on avo.com, trying to get answers to folks who need answers from employment attorneys. The question here is a question about discrimination, specifically disability discrimination, and I'll go ahead and read the question. My employer is disciplining me on my mood, and I am bipolar, but I have not disclosed this to my employer. What do I do? I was diagnosed with a mood disorder 2 years ago. Occasionally, I have trouble regulating my mood and will be reserved. I run a store and manage a team. I have been here 8 years and have been very successful. There have been no performance issues. I had a previous employer who, when given performance reviews, would call our ethics hotline and say I was bullying her. Each time our HR would come to my store and investigate. They never found anything pointing to bullying, but did give me feedback that my team felt at times I was in a bad mood. After the third time, I became very uncomfortable. Recently, my new boss came to my store with HR and asked about team morale. They asked some of the coworkers, and then my boss and HR approached me with a performance plan because my team said sometimes I am in a bad mood, and it affects team morale. I am afraid to disclose my condition for fear of retaliation and the potential of being passed over for advancement opportunities. It feels as if my employer is pushing me out. She has recently removed the managers that had been with the company previously for various reasons, and now it feels as if this is the case. What do I do? Okay, so the situation with disability discrimination, I completely understand. I completely and entirely understand why you don't want to disclose. But if your employer doesn't know you have a disability, you have no protections for that disability because they don't know about it. So they have no duty to accommodate you or to do anything for you, right? So what I would say is you may want to speak to your doctor, right? Go speak to your diagnosing doctor who you treat with for the bipolar condition and say, hey, doc, what do I need? What would help me as a person living with bipolar condition? What would help me to succeed in the workplace as a reasonable accommodation? And have the doctor write a letter for you saying what those accommodations would be. And then take it to your employer proactively before anything else happens, and come to your employer and just say, hey, these are the accommodations I need. That I want you to understand this is what I'm dealing with. I'm not in a bad mood. I'm dealing with a mental disorder. I'm dealing with a legitimate disability under federal and probably local law, depending on where you are. And here's what I need to be successful. And they will hopefully do their duty and engage in the reasonable accommodation dialogue with you and hopefully grant you the accommodations you need. If they fail you, they fail to engage in the reasonable accommodation dialogue, if they fail to grant you a reasonable accommodation, if they terminate you or target you because of your bipolar condition, you will then have a potential claim. You'll have protections, you'll have rights. There'll be things you can do. You can call up an employment attorney to perfect your rights and to protect you. You have a lot more tactical options. Now, I hear you. You mentioned you're worried about advancement. Will you lose the opportunity for advancement if you disclose your condition? You know, I know, it's clear there is a lot of prejudice against conditions like bipolar condition, right? I just happen to have multiple family members that I grew up with who are dealing with bipolar condition, right? So I don't know what it feels like, but I have a first row seat, and I've been able to see what that experience is like, and the cycling that some people go through when they deal with bipolar condition, and the different, everybody's not the same. Every bipolar condition, it's a spectrum. There are different levels of what you experience and different ways that symptoms are shown. But people who don't have that experience, who don't understand bipolar condition, they can be pretty hateful. I agree. I share your fears for advancement, right? But two things. One, you're afraid you're going to get fired right now. So you're not going to advance, right? You actively think you might be terminated or pushed out. Advancement's not on the table right now. So not the priority, right? Protecting your chance of advancement is less important than protecting your job, potentially. And then if you do disclose your disability, there are things employment attorneys can do to help you if you feel that you've been blocked from advancement because of your medical condition, right? So I hear you, your fears are real, but you just don't really have a lot of leverage right now because your employer's not on notice. And if your employer's not on notice, they can't, it's going to be hard for them to be held accountable. So I hope this helps. I'm certainly available for follow-up questions. If you do think this helps you, if you could like and subscribe, it helps us to help other people like you. And please consider us available. We're here. And I think any employment attorney should want to help you, want to answer your questions. Good luck.